Hey everyone, welcome back to the channel. Today we're diving deep into one of the biggest questions in Apple's desktop lineup. Is there actually going to be an M5 Mac Mini or even an M5 Pro Mac Mini? We've already seen the redesigned Mac Mini launch with M4 and M4 Pro chips, but now the rumor mill is buzzing about what's next. Will Apple bring out an M5 model in 2025, push it into 2026, or could they even skip straight to the M6? In this video, I'll cover everything we know so far. Equals the expected CPU and GPU core upgrades, possible RAM and storage changes, the pricing situation, and most importantly, the likely release window. By the end, you'll have a clear picture of what to expect from Apple's next small but mighty desktop. So grab a coffee, hit that like button if you love talking Apple tech, and let's get into the details. So the big question is, will Apple actually give us an M5 and M5 Pro Mac Mini? Could we see it in 2025, sometime in 2026, or will Apple completely skip the M5 generation for this desktop? Today, let's break down all the latest leaks, rumors, and possibilities, including what kind of CPU and GPU configurations Apple could bring with these next chips. But first, let's look at where things stand right now. The current Mac Mini lineup is powered by the M4 and M4 Pro chips, which launched near the end of 2024. That release was especially big because Apple finally gave the Mac Mini its first major redesign in well over a decade, nearly 15 years since the last big change. The new design is smaller and sleeker, with around a 50% reduction in volume compared to the old model. Most people have praised it not just for the form factor but also for the price point, starting at $599 for the M4 base model, which includes 16 GB of unified memory and 256 GB of storage. Naturally, that leads us to the next generation Mac Mini. That if Apple does refresh it, we're expecting the jump to M5 and M5 Pro Silicon inside. One thing worth pointing out, because the Mac Mini just got its first real redesign in ages, don't expect another design change anytime soon. Apple tends to stick with a chassis for 10+ years. So, it's safe to say the current compact design will carry forward for multiple generations. The only ongoing criticism is the power button placement at the back, but overall, the design is seen as a big win. Now, what about the chips? Starting with the M5. The M4 currently features a 10-core CPU, 6 efficiency cores plus 4 performance cores, and a 10-core GPU. With the M5, Apple will likely keep the same CPU core count, but boost performance by around 25% thanks to architectural improvements. For graphics, though, there's a strong chance Apple finally adds 2 more GPU cores, bringing the total up to 12. This would mark the first GPU bump since the jump from the M1's 8 cores to the M2's 10 cores. Since then, the baseline chips, M3, M4, have stayed flat, so the M5 could be the moment Apple adds more graphics horsepower to the entry-level Mac Mini. On the memory side, don't expect the baseline to go higher than 16 GB, since Apple just raised that floor across the Mac lineup. So options of 16 GB, 24 GB, and 32 GB should continue. Where we might see an upgrade is in storage. Apple could finally raise the base option to 512 GB, as 256 GB feels too cramped in 2025 and beyond. If so, the starting price could still be around $599. Now, moving over to the M5 Pro model. The current M4 Pro inside the Mac Mini goes up to a 14-core CPU, consisting of 4 efficiency cores and 10 performance cores. For the M5 Pro, Apple may push the performance cores further, potentially giving us 12 performance cores plus 4 efficiency cores at the high end. The GPU may also get a small bump, from the current 20-core maximum up to 22 cores. It wouldn't be a revolutionary leap, but it would still mean more headroom for creative professionals. Memory configurations likely won't change, meaning the M5 Pro would start with 24 GB of RAM, with options up to 48 GB or 64 GB. Storage is where things get interesting. If the base M5 jumps to 512 GB, then the M5 Pro could start at 1 TB, which feels more fitting for a pro-level machine. Pricing, however, is still expected to begin at around $1,399. Now let's talk release dates. Early reports suggest the M5 chip will debut in the iPad Pro later in 2025, with the Vision Pro also possibly getting an M5 refresh. However, MacBooks with M5 silicon look to be delayed into early 2026. As for the Mac Mini, Bloomberg's Mark Gurman hasn't mentioned any M5-based models so far. That suggests the Mac Mini and iMac may not get updated until late 2026 at the earliest. And with rumors of an OLED MacBook Pro in 2026, it's possible Apple could even skip the M5 Mac Mini entirely and wait for the M6 generation. So, the situation is still up in the air. By the time we get into 2026, we should know for sure if the Mac Mini will see the M5 chips, or if Apple decides to leapfrog them. So, there you have it, everything we know so far about the rumored M5 Mac Mini and M5 Pro Mac Mini. From what it looks like, Apple may give us a modest performance jump, possibly bump the default storage, but otherwise keep the design and pricing the same. The real mystery is the timing. Will it arrive late 2025, slide into 2026, or get skipped entirely in favor of the M6 generation? If Apple does launch an M5 Mac Mini, would you upgrade, or are you holding out for something bigger, like an OLED MacBook Pro or even the M6 chips? Let me know in the comments below. If you found this video helpful, don't forget to hit the like button. It really helps support the channel. And of course, if you want to stay up to date with the latest Apple leaks, news, and comparisons, make sure to subscribe and turn on notifications so you won't miss any of my future uploads. Thanks so much for watching. I really appreciate your time. I'll see you in the next one. Take care and bye for now.